Hello and welcome back to our Lord of the Rings LCG solo progression series, and today's quest is Assault on Osgiliath, which is the fourth adventure pack in the Against the Shadow cycle. A quick reminder, in this series we're playing through each quest in chronological order of the game's initial release, and we'll only be using player cards that were available at the time of this quest release. I'm calling this deck Property Managers because in Assault on Osgiliath, we win by controlling all the locations in play. So this is very much a location control deck. And this is very simple, this quest, especially with this deck. You can win it in as little as 2 rounds. Nothing really amazing about having built this deck. I think the solutions to build it or to beat this quest are pretty obvious. But the only new card we have here is from Assault on Osgiliath, the Pelargir Shipwright, which costs 3 spirit resources, 0 willpower, but he gets +1 willpower for each hero you control with a printed spirit hero resource icon. So he can, in a mono spirit, he can quest for 3, which is pretty great. But we're using familiar heroes. Let's get to the quest and see how we do. Usually I just like the hard mulligan for Light of Valinor. Since I have it, we will just stop and be content. And let's look at Retake the City. You have returned to Minas Tirith just in time to join the army of Gondor as it marches to Osgiliath. An army of orcs and Southrons have garrisoned the ancient city, but Lord Boromir means to retake it. Eager to strike a blow against Mordor, you will see the city retaken or die in the attempt. For setup, each player chooses 1 enemy and 1 unique location and adds them to the staging area. Then we shuffle the encounter deck. And so the way I always do this is the enemy is going to be a 30 engagement cost enemy, this Uruk soldier. Just only contributes 1 threat, and there's no win revealed or anything. And then it has to be a unique location, so we're going to look for this one, Ancient Harbor. And we'll shuffle the deck. So this is always what I do. So it's just 2 threat initially in the staging area. And as you can see, there is no progress that can be made on Retake the City. It says player card effects cannot place progress tokens on locations in the staging area. That's important to remember. So we can't use something like Ride to Ruin to put progress tokens on a location. It can only be the active location. So no progress tokens placed on cards in the staging area, locations in the staging area through player card effects. Force, when an Osgiliath location leaves play as an explored location, the first player takes control of that location. So the rules insert will just tell us, really just very obvious, I think, how this works. If you clear any location, it just comes down under our control. And as you can see here, Ancient Harbor has a forced effect. After the player who controls Ancient Harbor lets an attack go undefended, return Ancient Harbor to the staging area. So each of these Osgiliath locations has that kind of a forced effect. And so if you have too many of them, it can be a little bit hard to control them all. But the way to win this is just simply the bottom text here. If the players control all Osgiliath locations in play, at the end of the round, they have won the game. So if somehow we could clear Ancient Harbor in 1 round, we'd win if we didn't have another location that came into play. All right, let's look real quick at Uruk Soldier. The force effect isn't going to matter because he won't attack us. And then Ancient Harbor, we cannot travel here, but there's a cool combat action where we can put progress on Ancient Harbor by taking this combat action, exhaust a hero to place 1 progress token on Ancient Harbor. And we can do that with all 3 of our heroes, so we could put 3 progress on Ancient Harbor during the first round if we didn't, if we had ready heroes during combat. Okay, so resource phase. Let's play Light of Valinor and attach it to Glorfindel. And just in case we get a there's a location that switches questing to Siege, so I'd like to go ahead and put out a Thor's Key. And otherwise, we'll just quest with Glorfindel. And just to keep our threat low, let's also quest with Eowyn. And we reveal West Quarter. There we go. So I'm glad I put out Thor's Key, because when it comes out, we can use Thor's Key's response. After a location is added to the staging area, attach Thor's Key to that location. So West Quarter will get this. While attached to a location, Thrower's Key gains treat attached locations printed text box as blank except for trades. So the Osgiliath type remains, but this whole thing about we are in siege when this is the active location, it does not fire. All right, so we will make 3 progress, but we can't put progress on retake the city during the travel phase. We can't travel here, but we will travel to West Quarter. And during the combat phase, we won't encounter or optionally engage Orc Soldier. During the combat phase, during the action window, we can take this combat action, exhaust a hero to place 1 progress token on Ancient Harbor. We'll do that with 2 heroes, so 2 progress on Ancient Harbor. And we're still in normal questing because this siege bit is canceled out by Thor's Key. Refresh, and nothing happens at the end of the round. Next round. And we can win the game here potentially. Let's go ahead and put out Escort from Eteros and West Road Traveler. And she has a response: after you play West Road Traveler from your hand, switch the active location with any other location in the staging area. But that's optional. I'm not going to do it. Sometimes I would want to, but I'd rather just explore West Quarter and then deal with Ancient Harbor during the combat action window. Okay, so let's quest. We've run out of resources. Let's quest with West Road Traveler and Escort from Eteros. While committed to a quest, Escort from Eteros gets +2 willpower. And we'll also quest with Glorfindel. We will not exhaust Glorfindel to quest, but we'll leave Frodo and Eowyn ready. And we reveal Southron Phalanx. We made 6 progress, which means we explored West Quarter. And it is an Osgiliath location. It says here, Force, when an Osgiliath location leaves play as an explored location, the first player takes control of that location. So we got West Quarter. It's under our control, and there are different shadow cards or treacheries and such that could make us lose this. During the travel phase, we cannot travel to Ancient Harbor. During the encounter phase, our threat is at 22. It's lower than either one of these engagement costs, so we won't optionally engage. During the combat phase, we will exhaust 3 heroes to take this action 3 times. Combat action: exhaust a hero to place 1 progress token on Ancient Harbor. I just did that 3 times. And so that means Ancient Harbor has been explored, and so we control it. Force: after the player who controls Ancient Harbor lets an attack go undefended, return it to the staging area. So moving forward, if we continued to play on, we'd have to consider these types of effects. But for now, we refresh, and at the end of the round, it says if the players control all Osgiliath locations in play, at the end of the round, they've won the game. So we just won. He was discarded from play after resolving the quest. But that is it. So in the deck, we have a few ways to deal with active locations and progress and such. We have Ride to Ruin. We have Strength of Will. We have, let me go back to the deck. Song of Arendelle is just for drawing cards. We also have, where's it at? The Riddermark's Finest. But again, you can't put progress on locations in staging. That's the one issue. But the nice thing is we could travel to a location, deal with it during the travel phase or before the end of the round, and then win the game using Riddermark's Finest, using Strength of Will, and Ride to Ruin, etc. This deck has a few real tough things to deal with. The hardest one by far is this enemy Orc Vanguard. The nice thing is his engagement is 40, but while it's in the staging area, resources cannot be spent from the resource pools of heroes who have leadership, spirit, or lore resource icons. We are in spirit. This is not a tactics deck. Can't be a tactics deck. It doesn't work. And so that can be a real bummer. But with Frodo, you could optionally engage Orc Vanguard, take the attack undefended, and then maybe the next round you bring in Gandalf, deal 4 damage to Orc Vanguard. All it takes is a Gandalf attack plus his response to destroy it. So there are a few ways to deal with that. But the chances of getting that in the first couple of rounds are slim. So that's it. We won the quest in short order. Hope you enjoyed the playthrough. It's kind of a nice, refreshing, short video compared to some of my other ones. Again, thanks for joining me. Hope you have a great day. Bye.